What's going on, guys, and welcome back to Podcast 129. My name is Hunter Waldrop, and to the right of me is Mr. Jake Stinchcomb himself, and we are here for the Week 6 preview and predictions episode. Jake, how we feeling tonight, buddy?
Good, man. I'm laughing at the fact that me and you both have glasses on. You can both see our glares, which is so funny to me.
It made me start.
We're both four eyes right now. Good, man. Excited to jump in. Sorry I missed the recap episode. Had some stuff going on tonight. Ready to preview this week of games. Kind of a weird week. We'll get into it, but I mean, it's just a huge step down from last week, but a lot of potential too for what's the word? Dramatics, I guess. So excited for it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I totally agree. Definitely doesn't have the quote unquote star power for like last week did, but any weekend of college football is a great weekend. And on top of that, whenever we think it's going to be lackluster, something big happens, whether it's a player, a coach, or outcomes of games. So I'm excited for it. So without further ado, we will hop
Look
right
at that
on.
graphic. Look at those two cover athletes. Every week, like before I get on the slides before the show, or wait till like the day of the show. Just don't even look at the cover picture. It's always like the feeling like the EA is about to drop who's on the cover of Madden or MLB The Show or 2K. That's how I feel. Like, who did you choose this week? Appreciate you doing that. They always look
great. No. Well, like in the recap episode, I had Ty Simpson on there. We've already used Diego Pavia. We've already used Carson Beck. And I was like, well, we haven't used Arch Manning. So I was like, we're going to use him. And we ain't used Tommy C yet either. So felt very warranted to use these two this week. All right, Jake. I tried this last episode. I don't think I do you justice. So I'm going to let you have it.
As always, go follow us on our socials. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. We're on TikTok at podcast_129. TikTok is podcast.129. Go give us a follow, comment on our stuff, like our stuff. We really appreciate that. And like Hunter said that he said in the recap, look, man, we're busy. All right. All three of us, we got lives going on. We're all busy. So we try our best to get stuff out. When we do get stuff out, please interact with it. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right. Well, Tyler kind of ruined the surprise. I guess this is part of being Jake and Tyler being roommates. But if you listen to the week 5 recap, we said Jake doesn't know it yet, but we're going to make him recap the Georgia-Alabama game. And Tyler and I did not even say a word about it. Tyler just kind of shook his head, so he didn't even want to talk about it before the show. And I was like, well, it's only fitting if me and Jake, two ball knowers, just go at it about this game and let our feelings be known. So this can be our replacement of the 1st and 10. And so, Jake, the stage is yours, brother.
A lot to be said. First, I would like to ask you this. Do you want Alabama or do you want Georgia first?
I want Georgia first, but you had boots on ground. I mean, you were in the stadium and somehow had service and was still texting me through all this. So that's a mystery of its own. But, dude, I need to hear what you got to say about the Dogs first. Like, that's what I've been waiting on. Like, all
yeah. I'll start with, like you said, being in the building first. Let me put this out there. I've been to a lot of Georgia games in the past, my whole life, but in the past 4 years, especially being at Georgia. And that is the best elite phone service I have ever had. I didn't miss a beat. You couldn't score a touchdown in the country without me knowing. I knew. As soon as somebody scored, I knew. As soon as I got a text, I saw. It was amazing. We were in the end zone on the back row. I don't know if it's because I'm not like within the walls, if that makes sense, with it like inside, if that makes sense. I'm kind of on the outside looking in. It was great. I was able to communicate with people on the outside world. I got to follow the Penn State-Oregon game. It was great. That'll probably never happen again, but fantastic. Number 2 point. If you are a beverage drinker and have had a Classic City Jaeger before, there's a Classic City Light now. They sell those in the stadium now, and fantastic beverage. Fantastic. Tore them up throughout the game. They were great. One more point that has nothing to do with football. I'm a big concessions guy. After tailgating all day, drinking all day, as soon as I get in the building, I need a snack. And
I'm very
usually,
familiar. I'm very familiar with this concept that you have because we had boots on ground for Marshall together. So I'm very familiar with this.
Got to have a snack as soon as I get in the building, whether it's a hot dog, whether it's one of the Papa John's pizzas we got. Well, when we were at the Marshall game, I noticed they had Huey Magoo's some places in the building. People had chicken finger plates. I'm like, where's this shit coming from? So as soon as I got in the building, I'm like, I'm finding Huey Magoo's today. We had plenty of time. And let me just say how fresh that was, and to have that after a long day of it was the second wind I needed before we got our ass beat. It was fantastic. Loved it. That's a great addition to the stadium. I'm here for it. Now, does it make a lick of sense while we're in Athens and I could throw a football to Canes from the stadium, and while Canes isn't in the building and the closest Huey Magoo's is in Loganville, different conversation going off on the side. The atmosphere as a whole is great. It was a night game in Athens. It's everything you expect it to be. I know a lot of people are complaining about the noise. Are you familiar with this? The noise that they were playing on second and third down? You haven't seen anything about this? Oh my gosh. This is going to I gotta play this for you. So Hunter, on third downs early in the game.
I will say that we probably won't be able to hear it through the computer, so you could just send it to me, and I'll put my mic on mute and listen.
Okay.
To it. But
but anyways, there's this sound that they started playing. It's never been played in the stadium, and it's on TikTok now, where it's like played, and then they cut in with Chris Fowler, and it's talking about Texas and Ohio State. It's that sound. I'll send it to you. But anyways, they were playing it on third down in the first half, and we're like, oh shit, this is pretty cool, right? Georgia's got a new thing. Nobody else has this. Well, in the second half, for some reason, they play, and we're getting beat. Vibes are not high. They played this sound after every play when we're on defense. It was unbelievable how many times they played it, and people are sick of it and have PTSD from it because we got beat by Alabama. So that's a point, and I'll send it to you, and you can just kind of look up some stuff on TikTok. People are complaining about it. Anyways, second point, Georgia gave out lights, gave out little wristbands of lights to 65,000 people. They had 65,000 of them. They were controlled by whoever for the whole game, and we're in sync with the music, in sync with the band. They were changing colors. They were red, white, and blue for the national anthem. It was freaking sick. Private jet flew over the stadium as the national anthem was ending. It was awesome, right? Here's my point. This has nothing to do with football, but I compare it to this. Georgia can't beat Alabama, right? We know this. Like, what is it now? 1-8 in the past 9 games. I compare it to, if you're familiar with Georgia high school football, Jackson County can't beat Jefferson. Never going to happen. And Jackson County has this thing when we play Jefferson or any rivals, if we should do any rival in general, when you play a team that you can't beat, a rivalry game, the fans and the organization, everybody feels like, let's change it up for this game. Maybe that'll give us some luck. And it just doesn't work. Like everybody calling for a blackout because it's Alabama. And let's get a new noise in the building on third down. Maybe that'll give us some luck. Or let's hand out LED lights to all the fans in the building, and maybe that'll give us some luck. I hate that shit with a passion. Don't change things up because of the name on the jersey of who you're playing. You can't beat them. At some point, you just got to line up, play football, and beat them. And we can't do it. We can't do it. So that's a little bit to do with nothing about football. That's the off-field stuff. And if you know anything like about the Jackson County Jefferson thing, if you're listening to this, like you know exactly what I'm talking about. Don't change shit up. Just line up and beat them. All right. It's just they put what's the old saying, Hunt? They put their pants on the same way you do, right? Same leg. Georgia. Let's talk about Georgia. Defense. I think we have Glenn Schumann, defensive coordinator. He's like I think he's not in the hot seat yet, but a trend that we've seen since really the second national championship, or really the first one. It started in the second one.
I know where you're going with this. Slow starts. I can point out the game. 2023 South Carolina when Spencer Rattler came into town. It was the first year Carson Beck was the starter.
Down 10 at half.
Down 10 at half. It was the third year of McConkey and Bowers. It was after the second national championship, to give you a timeline. I knew exactly where you were going. Yeah.
That's my biggest takeaway from this defense and biggest problem right now that I have with them. We can never just go 3 and out first possession, regardless of who we're playing, whether it's Alabama, whether it's Marshall, whether it's the Patriots. It doesn't matter. We can't stop anybody the first drive and just go 3 and out immediately. It can't happen. And I think that comes down to coaching. Yeah, you can put it on the players, but at some point, the finger's got to be pointed at the defense coordinator. Why are we not ready for their first 15 play game script, right? So that's a concern for me, especially with Alabama. The second thing is the pressure on the quarterback. We talked about this throughout the game. Georgia's interior defensive line and edge rushers, we can't get to the quarterback. We couldn't get to the quarterback 2 weeks ago in Knoxville, and we couldn't do it. Go ahead.
I like how you knew.
I just see when I see your mic go off mute, I'm like, all right, he's got a point, and I'm just going to let you go.
Yeah, Georgia hasn't recorded a sack all year. Not against Marshall, not against Austin Peay, not against
Tennessee, that's a problem.
And not against Alabama. They have not recorded a single quarterback takedown in the backfield on a pass play all season long.
And it's especially a problem when throw out Marshall and Austin Peay, but we've played Alabama and Tennessee who want to throw the ball 50 times a game. That's their MO. That's what they want to do, and we can't get to them once. Like at home, it doesn't matter if we're home or not, but you got to get to these quarterbacks that can – if you give Todd Simpson all the time in the world, like we saw on Saturday, he's just going to spin it. And he had plenty of time to throw all day. I'm not taking anything away from the kid. He played great. I mean, he put the ball exactly where it needed to be on time for 4 quarters.
But he also – like the thing is that I've noticed this year in particular, it's not even like they even have the sense of feeling uncomfortable. There's not even quarterback hurries.
No.
Or any sort of – there's zero – it's not just – bringing them to the ground. There is no legit pressure.
And it gives them time it gives the quarterback plenty of time to go through his progression. You could give a quarterback 7 progressions. He can go to number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, back to 1, back to 2. He's got all the time in the world. That's an issue. And then you have that first factor. And then you throw in the second thing that I'm getting to. We can't cover. Our secondary, I don't know if we're slow, if we're second guessing, if some of it's like mixed, misunderstood coverages, whatever it may be. But you watch, Georgia can't cover. We can't play man. It's not a thing.
No.
And we can't play zone because if we play zone, their receivers have time to get into the pockets of that zone where they're open because we can't get to the quarterback. So it's like, well, damn, what are we going to do? Yeah, like we can't cover man and we can't do zone. So that's another issue. I don't know if it's just we're not fast enough. That shouldn't be the case. It's freaking Georgia. So yeah, that's another problem. 2. All right. So that's the main thing with defense. I think the defense is the biggest problem right now. Hell, we gave up 24 points, and it's always, and this kind of goes back into the slow start thing. It's always, well, Kirby's going to make adjustments at half. Kirby's going to make adjustments at half. We're a second half team. There's 4 quarters in the damn football game. You got to show up for 4 quarters. You got to play, and you almost got 2 weeks ago in Knoxville for a slow start, and you got beaten this one at home. At some point, you got to come out in the first quarter and be prepared. It's like we're not prepared in the first quarters of these games.
They are this. And when I say they, for those listening on podcast, University of Georgia, I'm doing a very, very small measurement with my hands. They are this close to being 0-2 to start SEC play and being 2-2 on the season.
Yeah. We're a missed field goal away from being 2-2. The kid makes the field goal, game's over. Like, yeah, we're 3-1. Great. We got the win we needed. Great. But yeah, for them, Ryan Grubb called a great game. It's Ryan Grubb, right? Ryan, that's his offense. That's all. Yeah. Great play calling all night for them. The play to seal the deal at the end, the fake zone, whatever it was. Oh, yeah, Jam Miller like fake zone left and then got back out to the flat really quick, and he was wide open. That made me so mad, but it was beautiful. Like, I wish that would have been us that called that. That's one of the most beautiful and perfectly executed play calls I've ever seen to seal a game. It was like, as soon as I saw him cut back, I was like, that's it. CJ Allen he got pulled in on that. It was great play calling all night. And he set Ty Simpson up great where it was just layup throws. It wasn't complicated. He wasn't expected to do much, and he looked comfortable. Ty Simpson looked comfortable all night.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
The thing I was most impressed by Ryan Grubb and Kalen DeBoer was that I think Alabama kind of knows that they're just not going to have a premier rushing attack this year,
mm,
but they found ways to have an extension of the run game, like that play you just specifically pointed out.
yeah,
Like they did a very good job of just getting it into the flats or getting it to their backs in different types of ways to be able to run the ball. So
yeah,
that's what I was impressed by. And like, dude, they just like the Alabama offensive staff just owned the Georgia defensive staff all
yeah.
night.
They had an answer for everything all
Yeah.
night. Moving on to Georgia's offense a little bit. I'll start with the drop.
Oh, hang
Go
on.
ahead.
Before you move on from Georgia's defense, I would be remiss if I didn't mention this stat. What was it? 13 of 19, 13 of 18 on third downs for Alabama. Just long, methodical drives. And like, I remember looking over, I was in Texas with my buddies, and I was just like, dude, it doesn't matter if it's third down and 7 or if it's third down and 1. Like, it got to a point where I was like, it literally does not matter. They're going to sustain this drive.
Yeah,
But
couldn't get off field in third down.
Huge issue.
And I know they started at least 7 of 7. Like it was a while before we got off the field on third down.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was 7, 8, or 9, but I know it was before 10. It was either 7, 8, or 9 in a row.
Yeah, it was a lot.
8 on the first 2 drives.
Mm-hmm. Yep, 100%. So, yeah, defense definitely needs to be fixed in the first half of these games. Second half defense is great so far, but it's a 4-quarter football game. Got to figure it out. Moving on to the offense, and I want to start with the drop that Taylor made. Freshman, 5-star wide receiver, drop wide open touchdown pass to take the lead. All right. And yes, should he have caught the ball? 100%. Is there a curse at the University of Georgia if you wear the number 11 and you're a wide receiver? Yes.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say every number 11 needs to be burned, or don't put it on a receiver ever again. Put it on a DB.
Yeah. Like it happens. But like it's football. Like there's going to be drops. Everybody has drops, and everybody's blaming it on the kid for dropping the ball. Ryan Williams dropped the touchdown pass. It was wide open. Same play, pretty much. It was a deep ball. He was wide open in the middle of the field. Nobody was around him, and he dropped it. He's number 2 best receiver in football. So I don't like the narrative that if we catch that pass, we win, because if they caught that pass, they win by 10. I mean, it's the same thing. I do disagree. We're playing Alabama, like in a night game scenario. And we just had probably one of the biggest recruiting classes in the portal at the wide receiver position. Branch, Noah Thomas, Colby Young, and yeah, maybe it's a personnel thing, but there's other. Where's Dylan Bell at? There's guys. There's other guys.
Jake, who's Noah Thomas? I've never heard of him. Didn't he get paid $2.5 million or something? Because I've never heard of that guy. Don't think I've ever seen him catch the football in the red and black. Just throwing it out there.
Well, I also think that we didn't expect Colby Young to produce the way he has, and they're both the same guy. And Colby's just bigger and stronger. He's a better blocker. I think that's why we're not seeing Noah Thomas at much. Yeah, it sucks. I'd love to see him too, but Noah Thomas isn't that slot guy. But anyways, back to the Taylor. I don't think he should have been in the game at that point. Like on a drive where we're supposed to be taking, like give the kid a shot, but give him a shot this Saturday against Kentucky when we're down 7-0 to begin the game, probably. So yeah, that was about the drop. The 4th down call, it's hard because what Kirby said in the presser was that they decided on 3rd that they were going to go for it and go tempo, and that they would have a better chance, and they practiced that play 1,000 times, and they ran earlier in the game, and it worked. And it's another personnel thing where you can question, why is Cash Jones in the game? I don't really have a problem with him being in the game and running that play at that point, because one, he's one of your fastest backs. I don't think speed's an issue. 2, I do have problems in the past where they put Cash in on 3rd and short and they run it right up the A gap. That doesn't make any sense. That's what Josh McCray's for. This was an outside run. If Juan Gatson makes the block at right tackle, Cash is 6, and we're not having this conversation at all. It was a 4th down call. Kirby's like that. He's going to – yes, he could have tied the game there, but we're at home. We're in, like, the student section end zone. We haven't done shit all night. We need a momentum shift here, a statement. It's 1 yard. Let's do it. Let's go to our money play and go for it. And Alabama's end made a better play, and we lost. I mean, we didn't convert. I don't disagree with his choice there. There are a lot of people questioning Kirby and his role as a head coach and bullshit. Like, the dude's won us 2 national champions. He's won millions of games. We had won like 36 straight at home. The guy knows what he's doing. It's football. You're not going to get every 4th down conversion. You're not going to get every 3rd down conversion. It's just how it works. We never should have been in that position at first. If we didn't start slow in the beginning of the game, then we never would have been in that position. Go ahead.
You don't get every 3rd down conversion unless you're Alabama playing Georgia. Sorry, that was just it was sitting there on the table for me. But I'll talk a little bit about that 4th and 1. Let you catch your breath there for a second. So I also don't have a problem with the play because it was not really a Cash Jones problem. It was a offensive line blocking problem. Like you said, even if like, and here's the thing is everybody's like, why is he in the game? Why is he in the game? I'm like, bro. First of all, I didn't hate the play call. Second of all, dude, this is the University of Georgia. We should be able to run the football and get 1 yard. I don't care if Jake Stinch comes up running back. Tyler, you're going to have to bleep that out. But that's my point. It's like, it doesn't matter who's at running back at the University of Georgia. I don't care who you're playing. You should be able to run the ball and get 1 yard. The biggest problem I had with the entire situation was not the play call, not the personnel. It was the fact, and Jake, us watching at home, when Gunner ran that ball on 3rd down, the ESPN crew flipped it to a rear up top camera. So the yellow line was gone, but even the announcers were like, he's got to be right there. Like, and I was sitting there going, okay, well, Kirby's going to like let him measure it or let it go under review or something. And then we're going to dial something up and be good. And the homeboy went straight tempo. And I'm just like, that coaching problem right there. And that's not me also saying that there's problems with Kirby or he needs to like.
No, I understand what you mean.
But like, dude, that's kind of like just situational football. Yeah. And like, people can, choose to say, oh, Bobo, bad play call. Whatever. Okay, there's only 2 other plays I would have ran on 4th and 1 with that personnel if we were going hurry up. And one of them would have been an extension of the play that we saw. Instead of handing the ball off to Cash Jones, I would have just sent him in motion and dumped it off to him in the flat. And the other one would have been let Gunner Stockton just run the ball up the middle or Josh McCray and get 1. So, and everybody can say that in the power of hindsight. Like you don't have that in the moment. And it wasn't a bad play call in the heat of the moment. I really don't disagree with it. What I do disagree with is not either letting it go to review or getting a measurement on it. And so that was my biggest thing from a coaching standpoint.
You almost would have liked for him to call a timeout because he did say that on 3rd in the huddle is like, here's our 2-play sequence. We don't get it. We're going. And I guess that they all just assumed that Gunner came up short. But somebody's got to be in the box on the headset saying Kirby that he might have got it. Let's call a timeout and get this thing reviewed. So maybe that's what it was.
I agree.
The tempo, they knew they were going tempo.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think I really hit on the Georgia offense a whole lot, but I will say I don't think the offense played bad. It's hard when you're also not on the field a lot. Like, that was one thing. That was honestly the difference between us losing to Tennessee, or I shouldn't say us. I didn't go to school there, anything like that. But that's the difference between Georgia losing to Alabama versus Georgia beating Tennessee. That Tennessee gets off the field so fast, so Georgia's offense had more opportunities, right? So this game, Alabama, time of possession, just ate it up. Georgia, it's like they have to score or they're screwed every single time that they're out there. So I don't think the offense played bad. I don't think Mike Bobo necessarily even called a bad game. Obviously, I'm not even qualified to question play calling, so I'm not going to. I think Gunner Stockton played okay. Like he's not going to be your consistent guy like a John Mateer who it's like, here's your Superman cape, bro, go win us the game. I don't think he's that guy, but I think he's the guy that can make a lot of plays. I don't think he played bad in this game at all. I don't think this one's on the offense. Now, granted, you would like to see more success here and there, but obviously putting up 2 goose eggs in the first 15 and the last 15 is never ideal. But still, you scored 21. You scored more time. I think they scored more times than not, or they were giving themselves a chance there. So I don't think they played bad. You're not supposed to score every single time you're out onto the football field, like statistically. But before I read this stat off, and I'm going to put some into perspective for you in a second, do you have anything else to add on Georgia before we move on to Alabama?
No, I just overall, I think, and I said this last week during the preview, I thought that it was a game that Alabama needed more than we do. We got ours, what we needed 2 weeks ago in Knoxville, and they needed this one bad. They couldn't afford to start 2-2, especially with the way that they looked against Florida State. They needed this one bad. They played better. They deserved to win. I think both of these teams have – season's not over for either team. Both have perfect routes, and it's all in their control to make the playoff. And I do think they're 2 playoff caliber teams. I think they're 2 of the top probably 8 teams in the country right now as it stands. So, yeah, that's all I got on this one.
Okay, I'm gonna read a stat off. You might have already seen this somewhere, but I saw it recently, and I got to give a shout out to somebody who I know listens to every single episode. His name's Jackson Lindsay. He listens to every single episode. He's the one that sent this to me, and he said, "Will you please drop it on the pod?" And I was like, "Yes," but I wasn't going to do it and take the credit for it. But he sent it to me. In the University of Georgia's last 5 games versus Power 4 opponents, they are 3-2. With all 3 wins coming in overtime. Georgia Tech last year, Texas in the SEC championship, lost to Notre Dame, Tennessee in overtime this year, Alabama lost this year.
So say that again. Sorry. Tech last year.
So it was Georgia.
Texas in the SEC championship.
Tennessee.
And then Tennessee this year. And then the 2 losses are Bama and Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Interesting. 2 games that could have won too.
That's a little concerning when you read that, right? Yeah. Do you get a little concerned when you read that?
Not really. Because we've proved that we're always the better team in these close games, especially at the end. And I think it also contributes back to what the first point we talked about, Hunter, the slow starts thing. Like each one of those games, you could point to a slow start and just starting behind schedule. And then we're the better team for the last 30 to 40 minutes and then have to manage to find a way to win in overtime. So if that's a concerning point, yeah. But it's just a slow start thing, man. You got to find a way somehow. I think that's what that stat contributes to, or that's what the slow starts contributes to. Is these past 5 games we were down 17 to Tech in the fourth quarter. Tennessee, we came out of the gate, which we responded well in that, but couldn't get a stop for 3 straight drives. Alabama, same thing. They go up 7-0 off rip, long drive, couldn't get off the field on 3rd down. So yeah, SEC championship, same thing. Texas started out up front, I believe.
No, Georgia. It was the first touchdown of that game was in the 2nd quarter. Trevor Etienne.
You're right.
10-3. University of Georgia
we also lost quarterback that game and played with the backup against Notre Dame.
Yeah. Regardless here. So
that's interesting.
I think the SEC, the top of the SEC is came back down to earth. Everything is so the margins are so small from team 1 to team 15. I don't think the margins are that small versus Kentucky. All due respect to Kentucky. I say that, and Kentucky's going to be in a 4-quarter dogfight with Georgia this week, which would be ironic and funny, but not funny for you, but funny for most. And so, but even Mississippi State, right? 7-point differential against Tennessee this week. the same Tennessee who was that close to beating Georgia. I just think the margins are so small, teams 1 through 15. But moving on to Alabama. So my biggest concerns with Bama was their lack of discipline on the road under Kalen DeBoer, their offensive line looking out of shape, just lazy, and then their lack of effort on defense. And it was like the exact opposite of everything that I was concerned about happened out there. So the offensive line I thought did great. Now, granted, is that sign of Georgia's pass rush sucks or Alabama's offensive line did great? I don't know. I think it probably a little bit of both. But just the way that they were playing, a lot of respect to those guys for getting up off their backs after that tumultuous loss against Florida State. Ty Simpson, I mean, I said it after the Florida State loss. I said, Ty Simpson did not lose that game. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear that Ty Simpson lost the game. He did everything he was trying to do when he wasn't getting chased all around the field. And when you give the guy time to throw, he showed it here. He doesn't turn the ball over, and he's going to throw it on the money, man. A lot of respect to Ty Simpson. And then the defense, man, there was guys flying around to the football. They played great for most of the game at least. And, man, like all my concerns that I had about against Alabama, like did they have a false start on the offensive line in Samford? I don't know if they did. If they did, it was very, very minimal. So shout out to Alabama for getting it together. And now they are right back where they want to be, 1-0 in the SEC. And now they just got to go in and prove it week in and week out. But will history repeat itself again? Big time win over Georgia. Got Vandy on deck. We'll talk more about it later. Jake, anything to add on the Crimson Tide?
That's it. Yeah, good one for them. 1-0 in SEC play. That's all you can ask for. And if they protect Ty Simpson the way they did and give him time like they did on Saturday, they're going to be just fine.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we spent a lot of time on that, but like Jake said, the star of this video, the star power and the necessary games to cover going to be a little bit quicker. So I think it all pan out time-wise. But so first game on deck, the number 3 Miami Hurricanes making the trip over to Tallahassee, Florida, taking on the 18th ranked Seminoles. Miami is laying 4 in this game. Coming off a bye week, Florida State, on the other hand, like everybody was all in on this game, and then people just immediately think the luster and the hype is gone, where I'm on the flip side of that, right? Like I know that they just lost to Virginia, but I still think they're a good team. And I was saying in the recap episode, I think sometimes this game, the college football in particular, comes down to matchups and scheduling spots. Mm-hmm. And that was a terrible scheduling spot with a bad look ahead. And, sometimes this stuff happens in college football. Just like there's a world that we're living in right now that people didn't want to come to a realization of, where Florida State matches up better and has a better chance to beat Alabama than the University of Georgia does. They might not have the 5 stars all over, but like it's schemes, it's players, matchups, everything of that nature. And don't forget, the last time Florida State played a big name at home, being Alabama, they whooped them. So I don't think the luster of this game is off at all. And I am very excited to see what Florida State does. This is the typical Big Hunt special. Buy low on the Seminoles. Because don't get me wrong, now I'm starting to get a little concerned about playoff. There might have been somewhat of an overreaction, but I still think they're a top 25 team in the country. I still think they're going to be competitive and be there in the right there in the mix for the ACC come week 12, week 14. So, and this is a big rivalry game that nobody has cared about since Jameis Winston left, right? Am I missing a year in there after Jameis Winston? Florida State's just been kind of mid since then. Honestly, so is Miami. This can be such a great game, and that's my intro to it. Jay, break it down for us. Let me know where your head's at.
Yeah, I definitely believe that they're still definitely still a top 25 team, regardless of what happens here. And I pulled up their schedule just to see if they were to lose this game, they're still in the mix. It's not a cakewalk, but Pitt at home, at Stanford, Wake Forest, at Clemson, easiest place to play in football right now. Virginia Tech at home, at NC State, and Florida. This is their last big test. So, and I don't think it's necessarily must win. I think if you lose this and go 10-2, you're fine. But as far as the game goes, Florida State, Tommy Castellanos. I'm excited to see what Gus Malzahn draws up for Tommy with the pass rush of Miami. Ruben Bain, another guy, I can't think of his name right now. I'm blanking. Their pass rush has been elite through the first 4 weeks, 5 weeks, whatever it's been. And excited to see if it's going to be him getting the ball out. And in times when, like he's proved on Friday night, he can throw a ball on a rope if he has to. That's an interesting matchup for me to see that pass rush against Florida State and that offensive line. And then for Miami, Florida State defensively, they have to, like, Miami's not one-dimensional. Miami's not a team where, okay, if we stop the run and force this guy throw, we're going to be fine. Or if we make this guy throw, we're going to be fine, like with Jackson Arnold. Like, if you stop the run with Auburn and make Jackson Arnold throw, you'll be fine. That's not Miami. They can beat you in several different ways with Carson Beck's arm, with Fletcher as the back. They can do many different things offensively. So they're going to have to be good at all dimensions, all three levels of the defense, Florida State is. This is another game like the Alabama-Georgia game, vibes-wise. Like, Florida State needs this one more than Miami does. But this would be huge for Cristobal to go in to Florida State on the road, ranked matchup, and get a win, because I feel like, yes, they're undefeated, but there's Cristobal still not getting the praise and glory that I wouldn't say he deserves yet, but like the praise, if that makes sense. It's all the talk's been about Carson Beck, but can he coach his way to a win in a tough place to play, a tight game? The spread's 4 points. It's going to be close. It's going to be a 4-quarter battle. I think it'd be huge for Mario Cristobal to get this win. Interested to see what you have to say about it. I think I'm going to go. I picked Miami. I'm going to go Miami wins 31-27. Right on the number, 4 points. What do you think?
Yeah, so you brought up a lot of good points there, right? So one, that the first thing that came to my mind when I really started thinking about this game is Miami has not played on the road yet this year.
Okay, question. Sorry, this just hit me. Is this a field rush watch game?
Yes, 100%, especially after you get the field stormed on you. This is 100% a field storm watch.
Okay. Crazy ranked opponent, but ranked matchup. But anyways, yeah, Miami hadn't left their home stadium yet, and they still haven't even left the state of Florida in this one.
Yeah, no, they have not left the state of Florida. They have not left Hard Rock Stadium. They've literally played at home every single game. The most recent product of Miami that we saw was 2 weeks ago when they played Florida, and all they did was just really run the ball. Like, Beck, he didn't have to do a lot with his arm, and I'm just curious to see if that's going to be their recipe all year, right? Like, if that's going to be successful all season long. Like, kind of like we talked about with Georgia Tech, right? I said my biggest concern with Georgia Tech moving forward, even after the Clemson win, is their offense is so Haynes King reliant. Like, there's going to be a week against a random opponent that it's just not going to work. And, like, will they be able to find a way to win? And we were that close this weekend against Wake Forest. Like, Wake Forest got robbed of that game off a bad officiating call. Yes, I'm 100% blaming that game on the officials, and that is not something I like to do. But it's just the truth. Georgia Tech would have lost that game if they would have just thrown the flag on the very obvious offsides. But hey, Georgia Tech won the game, and that's all that matters at the end. But same principle goes here for Miami. They've been handing the ball off to Fletcher, and I can't remember the other running back's name off the top of my head. But, like, this is the first time that, like, I think they might actually have to throw the ball a little bit, right? Because, like, that's how Virginia mainly beat Florida State, was through the air. Some Chandler Morris design runs in there, obviously. But, you know, I don't know. I'm very curious to see, can Miami's offensive line just sustain success all year, right? Can their defensive front just sustain success all year? Like, I think Florida State still needs to try to establish a run game, even if they're consistently just running into a brick wall, right? Like, this is where Gus Malzahn might be able to shine with those extensions of the run game, right? Like, maybe a little reverse here, or a little double play action dump off. Like, just little things like that. And if they can get that stuff going, that will allow the quarterback run to get going. But if this game turns into Florida State having to put the ball in Tommy C's arm to throw it 30 times, like it's in wraps. Like that's exactly what Miami's defense wants you to do. So I don't know. I'm very intrigued by this matchup. And like, I don't know. Can these young receivers who are all new on this Miami roster go on the road and play the same way that they always have been, right? Like, I'm not worried about Carson Beck as much because this is his 6th year in college football, 5th year in college football, where like he's played on the road in so many games now. This is 3rd year as a starter, right? Like he's played in Neyland Stadium. He's played in Austin, Texas against the Longhorns. So him on the road, not as much of a concern for me, but even though this is their first road game of the year. So I think what it's just going to come down to is how successful is Miami going to be at running the ball and how successful is Florida State going to be at stopping the run. I think it's really just that simple. If Miami's having success running the ball, it might be wraps early. And the scoreboard might not reflect that as far as like it being a 21-point game. Like it might just be like a Florida game, where they just, that they're going to win, but they're only winning by like 8 or 9 points. But if they're not able to run the ball and Florida State's able to stop the run and then they're able to get a little thing going on offense, I think it's going to be a 4-quarter game. Like, I don't think the spread is 4 for a reason. That's the point I'm trying to get to here. Like I said, beginning of this is my typical buy low spot on a team after a monstrous loss. Like, the spot just looks terrible. Everybody's selling their stock in Florida State. Oh, they're overrated. It was a fluke against Bama. I don't think so at all. Crystal Ball's going to crystal ball. I also think Mike Norvell's just a better head coach. Give me Florida State 31-30, game-winning field storm. Give me the Noles.
Good stuff. Gosh, field storm, that'd be crazy. Back to back. Got field stormed last week, and now you get to do the field storming.
Yeah, I know.
That'd be pretty cool.
Wait, are you against field storming? Is that what I'm hearing?
I'm not against it. I'm against it in this scenario. I don't think they should be. You beat Alabama like 3 weeks ago. That was warranted, but like now you're ranked.
But this is a rivalry game.
Yeah, but still, like, you were the number 7 team in the country 2 weeks ago, or 1 week ago. If you would have won that game and if Deuce Robinson catches a touchdown pass, you are still this is way closer and ranks, and it just shouldn't be a field storm, in my opinion. But let the kids have fun, man.
Hang on, I'm trying to.
If I was a Florida State student, I would be fully prepared to be rushing the field on Saturday.
Yes. What I'm looking up right now is the history of this game, right? What are the outcomes? Like, when's the last time Florida State beat Miami? It was in 2023, so I guess it wasn't that long ago. And they've won 3 of the last 4. So, maybe not. But I don't know. I just feel like any time that a college student who pays thousands of dollars at a school has an opportunity to rush the field, they should.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying, too. Like, Ole Miss didn't rush the field against LSU, which I thought was a big deal. They also don't have that $50,000 fine. Regardless, we're getting off topic. Next game up, we have got the number 18. Yes, 18th, not in the SEC, not in Power 4. 18th, I guess it would be Power 4, but regardless, 18th in the country. Vanderbilt Commodores. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the Vanderbilt Commodores are ranked nationally in the top 25, and they're taking a trip on down from Nashville to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, taking on the number 10th ranked, newly 10th ranked Alabama Crimson Tide. This line moved back up towards the original number. It is at 11 right now. And Jake, will history repeat itself in this game?
I think that this is like definitely the most fun game of the week just because the narratives around it. Pavia is going into Tuscaloosa, and I saw that in an interview he said that if they just play their game and everything's clicking, that it's not going to be close, which is just awesome, and it's so on brand for him to say that going into Tuscaloosa. 11 points is a lot. to give Diego Pavia. I know it's in Tuscaloosa. Alabama coming off of a very emotional win on the road at Georgia. Vandy, not really concerned with them going on the road. They already beat the brake shoes off Virginia Tech on the road at night. They beat the shit out of South Carolina a few weeks ago on the road. So the on the road factor with Vanderbilt, I don't give a damn where they're playing. If it's in Brazil, it doesn't matter. That these guys can just show up and just beat whoever lines up in front of them. And God forbid you put a plus sign in front of the spread, because they're going to shove it right down your throat. I do feel like Alabama rolls here. I think they found their stride. They found the recipe, especially offensively, like we talked about. Like, if we can keep Ryan Simpson protected, make sure he's not running for his life, that we're going to be able to put up points. And I think that's in play here. And I do believe that Alabama kind of rolls. And you will see in a few slides that I say the opposite. But I'm not gonna be that guy that takes Alabama, because I don't want to be on that side on Saturday. I don't want to be on the side of, why would you bet against Diego Pavia ever? Why? It doesn't make sense. But the unbiased football guy in me says Alabama rolls here, like 31-10.
Wow, that's hot. Hot take. So I got a stat for you. Quarterbacks who, in the weeks leading up to their Alabama game, who have talked an immense amount of shit, are 1-0 against Alabama this season. Sorry, I have to be a smart ass about it. But regardless, this is going to be such an exciting game. And so, yes, I think Alabama is like halfway there on the piece of the puzzle, right? Like, I think the Florida State loss ignited in something in them, and it might have been the best thing that's happened to them all season. Like, we saw it against Georgia. They can go on the road and they can get a big win. So they're halfway there under DeBoer, right? But the second half of that is being able to come back down to earth, have your attention on your next opponent, regardless if it's Vanderbilt, Mercer, the Alabama School of the Blind and Deaf for girls. Like, it doesn't matter. They have to have their attention on their next opponent and get the job done, right? And I think, obviously, last year, looking back on it, I think it's safe to say that they just weren't prepared. They weren't focused on little old Vandy. They didn't really have a reason to. And then they got caught off guard, and it was the most shocking result of the entire year last year. The most shocking result of the entire 2024 season was Vanderbilt beating Alabama, right? So I think it's safe to say that this year, they probably had this one circled in the preseason, right? Like, the one game they didn't want to lose was this one again. So I think that they will have Vanderbilt's full attention. And I'm but here's the thing, like, I think that this definitely is the best Vanderbilt team of our lifetime. Like, no doubt. And I'm not going to bet against them. Like, I'm sorry. I'm just not going to do it. And I genuinely think they're just a really, really good team. Like, I think 11's too many. I think what this game comes down to is their secondary. Like, who's the best quarterback that the secondary's faced this year? 1/4 of Lenore Sellers. And then outside of that, Kyron Drones. Who's the best receiving core they faced this year? Like, if the Vandy secondary can keep up, I'm not concerned. I think Vandy's going to be right here in it at the end. But if we see early on that they're giving up explosives and they can't keep up with the Alabama receivers, like you said, this one could get a little ugly real fast. But I believe in Vandy too much, man. I genuinely think, like, outside of the narrative and Pavia and everything else, I genuinely think this is just a good football team that 11 is too many points. Now, I'm not going to be the doofus that comes on here. I really thought about it. Like, when I made these slides a few days ago, I was like, yeah, I'm going to go on here and pick Vanderbilt to win. I can't do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to be cheering for them because I always love cheering for the underdog. And it's like, I want to see Diego Pavia do good, but I'm not going to be the doofus to come on here and pick them to win the game outright on 11-point spread.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make it 31-27. Alabama gets the win at home. But yeah, I think, I don't see this. I think this game's going to be anywhere between 3 to 9 points. Like, unless, like I said, they're just giving up explosives left and right. Like,
Yeah.
that's really
And
something you can factor into a point spread or to a game is like how many explosive plays somebody's going to get. So that's why I'm saying anywhere between 3 to 9. I really like Vandy in that spot.
yeah. And well, I'm glad you brought up like the path to them winning this game, Vandy, talking about. If they can get in a position where they can do what Alabama did to Georgia last week, and which means keep them off the field long drives. Georgia rushed for 227 yards last week, averaged 6.9 a carry. And that's Vandy's MO. They're going to run the ball with Pavia, and Pavia is a better runner than Gunner, I would say. And Cedric Alexander, like if they can run the football, like get that first stop and go on a 7-minute drive and kind of get the crowd out of the game, they're going to be in a position to win. That's because we've seen that they can get a crowd out of a game and win a football game. If they can run the ball on Saturday, I'm not really that worried. If I'm
Cedric Alexander is the most not talked about running back ever
at all
because of Pavia. He's a dog. And they got like Eli Stowers, great tight end. Like they got playmakers at Vandy. Their offensive line is starting to finally look big. But I'm glad you brought that up, Jake. Last year in that game, Vandy held the ball for 42 minutes of the game. They had time of possession. So, and I think they forced 2 turnovers, 1 for a touchdown. So sometimes you need things like that to go your way. But like if you can hold on to the ball for 42 minutes, brother, you got a good chance of winning the game. So I'm excited. This is going to be such a fun game to watch. So, all right, moving on. And this one, oh gosh, this is
close your eyes.
This is a disgusting game. I'm sorry. Like, sorry, this is terrible podcasting. For those listening online, this is the number 9 ranked Texas Longhorns traveling to Gainesville, Florida to take on the Florida Gators. Texas favored by 6.5 right now. Some places you can find a 7. But, man, talk about 2 rough starts for these 2 teams. Like, both offenses chart in the 100s of total offense. Not like that's the stats. Like, their total offense charts in the 200s. I have a stat here. This is going to be atrocious. Let me see if I can't find it. Jake, you can go ahead and here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, I got it. Sorry. Texas versus Florida features the 103rd and the 123rd third down offenses in the country.
Jeez.
Guys, I kind of get like with Florida, it's like a little bit more, just a tiny bit more acceptable considering they've played LSU and who else? Miami. Yeah. So a little bit more acceptable. Whereas Texas, okay, yeah, they played Ohio State, but they also played UTEP, San Jose State, San Jose State and Sam Houston State. And you still can't get out of the 100s after those last 3 games. Oh, there's also like a weird scenario out there where these 2 offenses just like both click. That would be weird. But both these defenses have played awesome. And it's hence why the total for this game is 41.5. And Jake, as you know, I'm recently a retired gambler, but for you, I'm telling you, and I'm going to be jealous when this hits. All I was going to say was to take a defensive touchdown in this game.
Ooh, it's a good one.
Whether it's Florida, whether it's Texas, or either team, I don't care. I think a defensive touchdown will be scored in this game.
Yeah, that's a great call. I'm glad you bring that up. I will probably be wagering on that. I think it's a game. Texas defense, they've had their offensive problems. I think they shut them out. I don't think Florida scores, and if they do, it's a field goal, maybe a touchdown. If I had to do a score prediction, I'd say 23-0 Longhorns. Their defense is so good, and I know Florida's got a lot of the battle and injury up front on the offensive line. Lagway he will be hurt forever. And I saw Lagway in an interview this week said that he thinks the offense is eventually going to click, and I don't think it's this week against this Texas defense. They have been elite. That's been the most elite part of their team through the first 5 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever it's been. I think Texas smothers them for 4 quarters, and we're one step closer to the Billy Napier era and Florida being over with.
Yeah, we might be. But regardless, I think Florida does score. I don't know how they're going to score. Like I said, it might be defensive.
Defensive touchdown.
I don't know if you saw that DJ Lagway's comments this week, but or Billy's. Billy goes, "Hey, number 2's got that look in his eye," and DJ's like, "Oh yeah, like it hasn't clicked yet, but when it does, everybody better watch out. Our offense is going to be lethal." I'm like, yeah, if you hand the ball off to Ball, he's only gotten 24 carries past 2 games, and every time he touches the ball, it's like, yeah, he's averaging 5.5 yards.
Pretty good
rush. They need to find a way to get the ball going. I also think that they're gonna just have to take some deep shots, just take them, because I think the offensive line isn't half bad, but there's gonna be some pressure. You need some momentum, right? You're playing in the swamp. You're gonna need something to get you going. You know what? If it doesn't hit, it doesn't. When I say it doesn't hit, like the pass completion, if it doesn't hit, it doesn't hit. But you can't just sit there and be stagnant and have DJ holding on to the ball all game and then trying to run the ball late. It's not gonna work. Now, if Florida can hold time of possession and sustain some drives, that would be interesting. Oh my goodness. I don't know if I can do this. I'm not going to pick Florida to win the game. Don't worry.
I was about to say, dang, we're doing this tonight, huh?
No, because I guess I picked Miami to win, but by the time the game rolled around, I was all on Florida. I was like, this is going to be the one. When Florida played LSU, I was like, oh, yes, they're going to keep this one close. Just I keep getting burned. And I've always been like the Sunbelt Billy guy on here. Just like, dude, he doesn't belong in the SEC. But yeah, I always find a way to get tricked into pulling for him on Saturdays. And I think Florida covers 6.5. I'm not going to pick them to win the game outright. I don't know. All I gotta say is it's just got a feeling, man. Just got a feeling. I got a feeling. I'm not gonna continue singing. God did not bless me with good vocal cords for that. Anyways, I'm gonna take Texas 23, Florida 19. Lots of field goals from Trey Smack in this one. Lots of field goals.
Good stuff. I definitely will be taking Florida to get shut out.
Does the under hit in that scenario? 9, 10, 11? Yeah. That's 41. It's 41.5. Okay, good. Because I definitely think the under is a good play in this game.
42.5.
You got it. Oh.
42.
42.
It lands on 23 to 19.
Oh. 23-16.
23-16. Landing on 39. I like it. Low scoring for sure. I like the under a lot.
Yeah. Oh, lockbox already. Wow. I kind of was not expecting that. We didn't have any other short game previews. The slate not very notable, like we said. So hopping right on into the best bets. And I do want to say this before we hop right into it. That gambling comes with responsibility, right? You need to do it the right way. You need to do it for the right reasons. Okay. It's not just something that you don't say, you're just doing it for fun. And then you're screaming at the television, not acting like yourself. And then, it just affects you as a human being. And then you're like just filling it with your brain for 7 days out of the week. Trust me, it's not healthy. Hence to why I am taking a step back from that. So I just want to throw that out there. Please do it responsibly and literally do it because you're just trying to have fun. Okay. So don't make it something bigger. Don't make it a lifestyle or something that becomes a true addiction to you where it is filling so much of your time and it changes how you act. Just want to throw that out there. A little disclaimer. So with that said, I'm seriously, I'm not betting on any of these games this week. Like seriously, but that doesn't mean I can't say, hey, I like this pick against the spread. Or, hey, I think this team's going to cover. It doesn't mean I can't still have the best record against the spread this year in games we like. Shout out to me on that. So regardless, pick number 1 for Hunter. Louisville -6.5. Who's Louisville playing this week? They're playing Virginia. Typical sell high spot for me. Sell high on the Cavaliers. They just stormed the field. They just had one of the biggest wins in program history, recent program history, I should say. And Miller Moss and Jeff Brown were rolling in there, and they haven't looked to the standard of what I originally thought they were to start this year. But it doesn't mean things can't still be clicking. Just went on the road and beat a good Pitt team last week, or an okay Pitt team last week. Sell high spot on Virginia. Give me Louisville by a touchdown. Next up, I got Cal +3.5. I definitely probably stole this one from Tyler, but Cal welcoming in Duke this week. Duke traveling from Carolina to California. Sorry, this is just the typical spot for your boy Hunt. I hate the coast-to-coast travel. Give me JKS or Jaron Kiawe Sagapolo-Tele +3.5. Even if I think they'll win the game outright, but if not, it'll be close within a field goal. Next up, if you know anything about Service Academy football, time of possession, both teams, not a lot of plays going to get ran in this game. You're trying to tell me they're going to score over 52 points in Air Force versus Navy? No, sir. Death, taxes, Service Academy unders. Air Force versus Navy under 52. Going to be great football if you like old school football this weekend. Game 1 of the Commander-in-Chief's trophy. Next up, Oklahoma -45.5. Wow, Hunter, that's a big number. You just really like Oklahoma. No, sir, they just play something called Kent State. I don't care if John Mateer's not playing. Great spot for Michael Hawkins to actually have to learn how to run the offense in full and not make it condensed and in a tough spot. Really good scenario for them. Show me Ben Arbuckle just running up the score. I don't know if Kent State will score more than 7 points in this game, and if they do, it'll be garbage time. And then last but not least, if I like Florida State to win the game outright, I'm going to take them +4.5 against Miami. I don't think this game will get out of hand, and it might even end up in a backdoor. So those are my 5 picks against the spread this week.
Good stuff, Hunt. I especially like Oklahoma pick. I think Hawkins is one of the best backups in the SEC. I've had several conversations with my girlfriend's dad about what teams in the SEC that don't have a backup quarterback, and he brings up a good point. Like, there's not like a lot of teams right now. If a quarterback, like, what's gonna if Garrett Nussmeier goes to, well, he's different scenario. They got Michael Van Buren. Getting off on a sidetrack. I think he's one of the best backups in the SEC, Michael Hawkins. He played great in the bowl game last year. Really good player. So
experience. Now, he definitely had his moments where he looked really bad, like against South Carolina last year. Yeah. Like, I think experience is so key. Like, he's learned from that, and that offensive coordinator was trash last year. And then you got like one of the best up-and-coming guys in Ben Arbuckle there. Yep. And this is like the perfect game for him to play in before he has to play Texas next week.
Yeah. So mine, Cincinnati money line, favored by 1.5 at home against Iowa State. Iowa State, top 15 team. They're 5-0. They have not had a bye week yet, I don't believe, and they're dogs going on the road to Cincinnati, who hadn't been talked about a lot. 1.5. This just sniff Cincinnati. Typical Big 12 game. I'm taking Cincinnati at home. Texas, and I've switched it up. And let me just say this: this is my favorite. These are my favorite picks of the year. I love them so much. Texas and Louisville, money line parlay. I don't see a world where either of these teams get beat. Hunter, you talked about Louisville. I think they roll this week. Typical after a Virginia emotional win at home. And then Texas, you just kick a field goal and you win the game. 3-0. You can win the game 3-0 on Saturday. So that is even odds-wise. Reverse psychology here in the Big Ten. We're used to Big Ten unders. I'm taking the Big Ten over. Washington at Maryland, cross-country trip. I think Washington's favored by 5.5, 6.5 here. Washington got smothered last week, only scored 6 points, had a few drives against Ohio State where they could move the ball. Other than that, it was nothing. That offense is explosive. They've scored a lot of points outside of the Ohio State game, and I think they do so here. Same with Maryland. They got a good freshman quarterback, blanking on his name right now, and they're quietly 4-0. I think they're able to score points against the Washington defense that hadn't been fantastic. Ohio State just smothered them, long drives, and did what they had to do to win and got out. So I think this one goes over 53.5. And then sticking to the Big Ten under scenario here, Penn State, UCLA. Talk about a disgusting game. This game's nasty. UCLA, obviously going up in flames right now. The Nico experiment has not worked out, and I don't think they're able to score on Penn State here. And Penn State's offense hadn't looked great either. I wasn't able to watch a ton of the Oregon game. I went back and watched it, but the spark's still not there for Penn State's offense. So I'm going under 50.5 here. This feels like a 24-3 game to me. And then the last one, play of the year right here, Hunter. New Mexico State. This game is tomorrow night. If you're listening to this, we're filming this on a Wednesday night. This game is tomorrow night. This game, 24 hours from now, the New Mexico State Aggies will have just finished beating Sam Houston State at home. I kid you not. Probably like 24-10. Sam Houston State, I've been very profitable on fading this team since week 1 when they played UNLV. And I still believe they're the worst not college football team, not football team. They are the worst college sports program in the country. It is pitiful to watch, pitiful football to watch. New Mexico State coming off of a rivalry loss, bad sour taste in their mouth after the loss to New Mexico. I'm riding New Mexico State home dog plus 2.5 on a Thursday night. I won't be watching the 49ers Rams. I'm going to be dialed in on this one, Hunter.
That's awesome. The fact that Sam Houston State's favored in a football game just draws concern.
They're probably going to win by 3 touchdowns, but
I'm
not letting them trick me. I'm not letting them trick me. Give me the Aggies.
I'm very concerned that Sam Houston State, and if you've ever tuned into a Sam Houston game in this past 5 weeks, I just want to wish straight apologies for your eyes because it's bad. It's really bad. So I don't hate it, Jake. I don't hate any of these. I got a little bit more on one of them in a little bit. So I'll read off Tyler's real fast. He's got Western Kentucky plus 2.5 against Delaware on the road. I don't know a lot about either team besides that Delaware got their first FBS win a few weeks ago against UConn. He's taken Illinois by 10 against they're playing Purdue this week. Is that a rivalry game? I don't know. Just old school Big Ten football. He likes the Illini to keep the train rolling. He's taken UNLV minus 3.5 on the road against Wyoming. Dan Mullen's been covering these short numbers against these G5 teams, so I guess let the good times roll. And then he took Baylor minus 6.5. Jake, you're gonna have to. They play Kansas State, correct?
Kansas State, yep, at home.
Are they're at home? Okay. He's taken Sawyer Robertson and the Bears to beat to continue the K-State disaster experiment that's been Avery Johnson this year. And then finally, we got a straight fade. Jake and Tyler are running a fade on each other because he's taking the Cyclones plus 1.5. And there's a world where both of these guys win. There's a world where Cincinnati wins this game 24-23, and Tyler and Jake both win. So, I'm just going to hope both of you guys have fun in that game, and may the best man win. Maybe both men win. I don't know. But good stuff on this week's Lockbox. Next up, triple option. Jake, you just talked about the Washington-Maryland game, right? So,
yep.
Oh, I forgot. I also forgot to update the odds. These are definitely not plus 150. It's definitely higher than that. Regardless,
plus 520.
Yeah. But regardless, so in the preseason, I straight up said, yeah, Washington's going to beat Ohio State. Obviously, did not happen. But then I said the next week they're going to lose to Maryland on the road, and that freshman quarterback his name's Malik Washington. They're sneaky 5-0 and kind of look good. I'm pretty sure they've already hit the over on their win total in the preseason. Pretty sure it was 4.5 in the preseason. They've already hit the over on it. So Mike Locksley got something cooking with Malik Washington over there. He's a fun player to watch. He can do a little bit with his legs. I don't know. Turn on the Maryland-Washington game this week. Might be fun to watch. Regardless, even if Washington wins the game, traveling from Seattle to Maryland, first time with Damon Williams, young quarterback, and like a new team that's got some injury problems right now. Just don't think it's a good spot. The original line was 6.5. I'm gonna buy a 1.5 for insurance here. I do like the Terps to keep it within a touchdown.
Good stuff. Plus 522. Sorry, that's what I've been doing. Parlay all three of these together. The odds are plus 522. I went with Vandy. I had to throw this in for the chat parlay here. Going all off on vibes. I know I said that I think Bama rolls, but this is my play. I mean, this is the most comfortable play I feel throwing out there. There's a plus sign next to Vandy, and there's 2 digits there. Yeah, I'll take Vandy plus 11 on the road in Tuscaloosa.
Who does Pitt play this week?
Pitt plays Wake Forest.
Boston College?
Boston College. Yeah.
Yeah, Pitt at home, favored by 6.5 against Dylan Londrigan and Boston College. And Tyler is laying the 6.5 with Eli Holstein and Pat Narduzzi. So that's a triple option. Maryland plus 7.5. Virginia plus 11, or not Virginia, Vanderbilt plus 11. And Pittsburgh minus 6.5 plus 525 on the money lines there. So Saturday Shockers, I just talked about it. I like Maryland this week. That 6.5 number is always just very tempting to take a favorite on. Like, all they got to do is win by a touchdown. Man, I hate the travel spot. Like I said, kind of banged up. I like Malik Washington. Not a lot of people know about Maryland so far this year. I don't know. I like they were like one of my favorite dogs I did like when I was looking at it this week. So give me Terps plus 205.
Good stuff. I can't believe I'm doing this. I really think Kansas State beats Baylor on Saturday. I don't know why. It's a feeling. Baylor cannot stop people. I think back to Auburn, the way they ran the football against Baylor in that first week's game. Last week, Kansas State put up 34 on UCF. I know it's UCF, but they ran for north of 250 yards, just run the ball with Avery Johnson and Dylan Edwards for 4 quarters, and I think they're going to be in at the end. Take the 6.5 points. They might win this game outright, Hunter. I can't believe it. I have that feeling. I don't know why. I'm probably way off. So that's my Saturday shocker, and then I'll give you a breath. Tyler picked Michigan State. They are going on the road to Nebraska on Saturday. I think the spread's 10.5 or 11. So, yeah.
Hang on. I'm going to do some parlay odds here. But, yeah, so, Jake, I took last weekend, I was all over Kansas State minus 5.5 against UCF. They covered. It's great. But, dude, taking them as a dog potentially to win outright against, like, Baylor. Baylor's much better than UCF.
Shouldn't this number be closer to, like, 9.5, 10?
I don't know. Should it?
Like, if it came out and it said 14, would you be surprised? No.
The 6.5 number's always so, like, Baylor's going to be like one of the most bet teams this week. I can tell you right now.
Exactly.
Like I don't hate it, but it's just so disgusting. It's
it's kind of like the same thing if you want to bet on Clemson right now. It's like, ugh.
Yeah, no, I agree. Hang on, I'm trying to get some odds pulled up here. No, yeah, dude. Speaking of Clemson, while we're talking about the gambling here, dude. I'm sorry, only 14-point favorites against UNC. That's terrible. Like, well, the study of the fall off, like somebody needs to study that because that's
we need a documentary on it.
What time does Kansas State play?
12, I believe.
Probably past. There it is.
Yeah, 12.
Oh, I forgot. Mine has a limit on it, so I just wasted a lot of time on that. But if you really are feeling frisky and you want to pull off the week 2 Saturday shockers like we all did, it's going to have a nice payout to it. So best of luck to everybody who partakes in this. And, yeah, that is our week 6 preview for this week. Do want to say, I know I dropped a few cuss words in there, and I know most people don't care, but I do care. It's not really something I've been working on, so sorry about that. But as always, remember, there are bigger things out there than football. A lot bigger things in this world. So just enjoy it for fun. Have a good time watching it, but always remember there are more important things in control of this planet. And God first, and God bless.
All right. If you are listening to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, feel free to go check us out on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. Hunter does a great job of doing our weekly slides for the show. They always look great. He does a good job of that. Thank you guys for tuning in. Big weekend of sports on deck. Playoff baseball's here. College football. The NFL's in full swing. NHL and NBA right around the corner. It's a great time to be a sports fan. That's podcast 129.